So in video 1, you talked about fanboys, we talked about the structure of a compound sentence. We're going to continue on with those notes, and so I'm not going to make you redo your, well, actually I am. I lied. We're going to talk about in part 2, so compound sentences. Part 2. Let's talk about how can I tell if a comma is needed. And this is how can you tell if a comma is needed, whether you're looking at a star style question and you're trying to decide if they are tricking you or if they are leading you to the right answer, or even in your own writing. When you think you're using a compound sentence, you can use this trick really quickly to determine, do you need a comma there, do you not? Commas are not like tinsel on the Christmas tree. You can't just throw it on there and hope it looks good. You have to think about it. You've all seen those Christmas trees with like clumps of silver tinsel just thrown up there, and it's just a big glob of grossness, and then everyone goes, oh, look at that. That person didn't know what they were doing. They didn't think this through. So you got to decorate your sentences with commas like you decorate a Christmas tree. You got to think about where things go and how it's going to look, and is it appropriate? So when you're talking about how can I tell if a comma is needed, let's talk about comma or no comma. Follow these steps. These steps are so helpful. And people think like it seems silly. It is not silly. Is it silly to be right? No, it's great to be right. And so if you want to be right, follow these steps. So when you are first looking at your sentence, read the sentence. Always important. Read the sentence. If you can read the sentence aloud, do it. I want you to circle the fanboys. If there's a fanboys, circle it. Then, after that, you are going to cover the fanboy and everything after. And you're going to ask yourself, step 4, is it a sentence? Is what's left over a sentence or not a sentence? If it's a sentence, you're going to put a check mark. If it's not a sentence, you're going to put an X. Okay? If it is a sentence, you're also going to go to step 5, and you're going to cover the fanboy and everything in front. And you're going to check. You're checking this to determine, do you have the proper structure? If it's a sentence, then put a check mark. If it's not a sentence, then put an X. Okay? And I know that seems kind of like a lot of steps, and you're like, I don't know, that's a lot of work. It's not a lot of work, I promise. Watch what happens. Let's test it out on this. Remember our graphic from the first video? If I don't know if that comma is supposed to go here, what do? I circle the fanboy. Okay, we're pretending that comma's not there, and I'm trying to decide, does it need to be there? Or you know what, it's there, does it need to be there? Circle the fanboy. Cover up the fanboy and everything after. Do I have a sentence? Yes. Do I not have a sentence? No. But you do. You have a sentence right there. Okay? Then check. Yes. Look, that took me like 5 seconds, and I slowed it way down so that you could keep up and write it down. But when we do that check system, we're checking both sides to see, do I really have a sentence? And it's easy here because you have the word sentence written. So let's try it on this. I'm going to get a different color just so you can see a little bit clearer. And actually, I'm going to use a regular pen because sometimes my marker sentences get real long and crazy. So, my mom bought pizza and she took us to the movie. Write this example. Okay? Example. Okay? Treat this like you would treat a math problem, that you're following some steps. So what was our first step? We're going to read the sentence. Mom bought pizza and she took us to the movie. Alright? Then I'm going to circle the fanboy. So where's my fanboy? Where's my fanboy? Where's my fanboy? I'm going to circle it right here. Then I'm going to cover the fanboy and everything after the fanboy. And so I'm left with my mom bought pizza. So if you ask yourself, is that a sentence? Does it have a subject? Yes. My mom. Did it have a verb? Yes. She bought. That's what she did. My mom bought pizza. Does it express a complete thought? Yes. So if it's a complete sentence, I'm going to put a check mark. Okay? Check marks are good. Then I'm going to cover the fanboy and everything in front. So now I'm covering this part. I'm going to cover it with my pen. She took us to the movie. Well, do I have a subject? I don't know. Do I? Actually, you do. She is the person that took us. The subject, remember, always completes the verb or is the verb. So she is the subject. It's actually called the subject pronoun. She is the one that did the taking, so she's the subject. She took us to the movie. That is a complete thought. Now, before you get all crazy and say, but I don't know who she is. Well, yeah, you do. It's my mom. But also, don't get confused between completeness and clarity. I could say my mom here, and it might make it more clear, but it doesn't make it any more or less complete. Okay? Completeness and clarity are different. Saying my mom makes it more clear, but it doesn't make it more complete. Okay? So, if I have a check and a check, then I definitely need a comma right there. And the comma goes in front of the end. Always next to the A. Closest to the A, not the D. Okay? So, my mom bought pizza, comma, and she took us to the movie. Let's try that sentence again. My mom bought pizza and took us to the movie. Because see, now kids think, oh, commas go in front of ands. Let's put commas in front of every and. And that's not true. It's just not true. You can't make it true. Okay? But we're going to follow the same steps. I'm going to read the sentence. My mom bought pizza and took us to the movie. I'm going to circle the fanboy. I'm going to cover the fanboy and everything after. Literally, cover it up. I know you feel silly doing this at your desk by yourself on the computer, but do it. It works, I promise. You, cover it up. You know who I'm talking to. My mom bought pizza. Is that a sentence? Yes. My mom is the subject. What'd she do? She bought. She bought pizza. Back it up. Do I have a complete sentence? My mom bought pizza. Yes. Check. Now I'm going to cover the fanboy and everything in front of it. So here's my fanboy. Cover everything in front of it. Took us to the movie. Is that a sentence? Some of you are nodding your head. Some of you are shrugging your shoulders. Some of you are saying, no, it's not. You guys are the right ones. Okay? It is not a sentence. And let me show you why. Even though movie is a noun, the movie is not doing anything. So it's not a subject. Not all nouns are subjects, but all subjects are nouns. Okay? It's kind of it goes one way, but not the other. So let me say that again. Not all nouns are subjects, but all subjects are nouns. Okay? Also, the subject is usually to the left of the verb, and took is the verb. We know that because it was the verb earlier. So took is the verb, but there's no subject. Is that a sentence or not a sentence? That's not a sentence. X. Anytime I have an X on either side, no comma. Okay? I leave that all by itself. No comma. Okay? If you have an X, no comma. Let's try two more examples. So, Joe brought flowers, so his mother cried. Joe is so sweet. Joe brought flowers, so his mother cried. Let's follow our steps. Step 1, read the sentence. Done that. Did that. Step 2, circle the fanboy. There's my fanboy. For and nor but or yet so. See how easy it is if you can recognize those really fast. So Joe bought flowers, so his mother cried. Cover the fanboy and everything after. And ask yourself, do I have a subject? Do I have a sentence? Do I have a subject? Yes, Joe is my subject. And did he do anything? Yes, he brought flowers. He brought, that's what he did. Notice how the subject is to the left of the verb. Joe brought flowers. Now is that a complete thought? Yes, that is a complete thought. If you don't like the check mark, if it looks too much like a V, just put a smiley face. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to cover up the fanboy and everything in front of it. And I'm going to look. His mother cried. Is there a subject? Yes, his mother. Did she do something? Yes, she cried. Now, before you get all in a twist about, well, but why was she crying? Remember, that's a clarity issue, not a completeness issue. Did his mother do something? Yes. Are we satisfied with the fact that that is done? Yes. That is a complete sentence. Okay? So if I have smiley face or check mark, whichever you like, and smiley face, comma, in front of the fanboy, to the left of the fanboy. Okay? Let's try one more. I'm going to make it kind of hard. Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game. Sorry, I blanked a minute there for a second. I could lie and say I was waiting on you to catch up, but that's rude. Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game for they had tickets. Alright, I'm running out of room, so this has to be the last example. Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game for they had tickets. Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game for they had tickets. Alright, so I'm going to circle the fanboy. Well, wait a second. Because I'm really good at fanboys, I know that there are actually 2 fanboys in here. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it on either side. And this gets kind of tricky, so pay attention. So, circle the fanboy. Let's talk about this first fanboy. If I circle the fanboy and I cover up the fanboy and everything after, all that's left on that side is Joe. Can Joe be a sentence by himself? No. So he could be a subject, but he's definitely not a sentence because there's nothing that he did on this side of the fanboy. So that's an X. And remember, if we have an X, we're not going to have a comma in front of that fanboy. So I can stop right there. I don't have to look at it anymore. But let's look at this one. For. I'm going to cover up for and everything after. Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game. What's the subject? Joe and his mom. They're both doing something. They're my subjects, okay? I'm going to cross out my X because now I'm looking at a different thing. So Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game. What did they do? They went. Okay? That's 2 lines. So that's the verb. Joe and his mom went to the Rangers game. Is that a complete thought? Yes. Smiley face. Oh, I like the smiley face better. I think I'm going to go with that. Now, cover up the fanboy and everything in front of it. They had tickets. Don't get twisted. Remember, they is my subject. They're the people. What did they do? They had tickets. They had. That's my verb. And it doesn't matter if you know who they is. It doesn't matter if you know what the tickets were for. That's what this whole other sentence is doing. Okay? So don't freak out about, is it complete? No, because I don't know who they is. That's a clarity issue. That's not a completeness issue. Okay? So if I see that that's a complete sentence and a complete sentence, 2 smiley faces equals a comma in front of that fanboy. So, to review, read the sentence, circle the fanboy, cover the fanboy and everything after the fanboy. Is it a sentence? Yes. Smiley face. If it's not, X, frowny face, whatever you want to choose. I don't care. If you get an X, you can stop right there. There's no comma needed. No comma. Okay? But if it is a sentence, you're going to go and you're going to check the other side. You're going to cover the fanboy and everything in front. And if it's a sentence, check or smiley face, not X or frowny face. And remember, anytime you get an X or a frowny face, you're not going to need a comma at all. You're done. Stop right there. All right, so hopefully look over your examples. In the next part of the assignment, you're going to actually look at some examples and put this into play, like on paper. The sentences are there for you. Can you cover up both sides? Can you decide, do we need a comma or do we not need a comma? All right, thanks for listening.